So, for the Mandalorian chapter 13 in this overall story, and boy, gee, I hope the number 13 doesn't mean bad luck, but no, I don't think so. The title was The Jedi. I wonder what that means. Well, of course, Ahsoka Tano's name was mentioned in the previous episode, and all knew she was going to appear in this season. And wondered if it would just be a cameo or something along those lines to lay the groundwork for perhaps a spin-off series or whatnot. But instead, the show opens up, and she's right there. We get some Jedi action as she wipes out this little band of troops for this woman who's, I guess, a bit of a warlord or some sort on this planet. And Ahsoka is demanding that she reveal the location of her master. We don't know who that is. At first thinking, is this involve, Moff Gideon and all that sort of thing. And so it sets the stage for that. The scenery is kind of this bombed out planet, but a lot of it has this very Asian look to it and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, there she is. She's fully grown. She's a much mature Ahsoka. I don't know a whole lot about Ahsoka as a lot of people do because I didn't follow the Clone Wars series. I've only seen the first season and I think about half of the second season. And then I got distracted with other stuff, and I'll have to get back into it. And I'm actually enjoyed the show more than I would have thought I would, because when I first saw it come out, I just, this isn't for me. It looks stupid. The computer animation doesn't do well with human characters, but with droids and spaceships, it's actually really good. And so if you can get past the weird looking human characters, there's actually some pretty good stories in there. And it actually fills out Anakin Skywalker's story much better than the prequel trilogy did, because it has the advantage of being a TV series, so it gets more time and all that sort of stuff. But one of the big aspects of it is Anakin has a Padawan, an apprentice for a Jedi, and that's Ahsoka, and she's this kid initially, and she's comes across a bit annoying, but she's supposed to be. She's this little kid, and she's bright-eyed, and everything's cute and funny and all this stuff, and she struggles and all that, and it's not as bad as lately, where you get every female character is God and that sort of thing. That's not how it works out with Ahsoka, and a lot of people took to her and liked her. Not at first, I don't think, but I can understand that going forward. However, I actually really like this adult by Rosario Dawson. Now, a lot of people wanted the voice actress to play her, but I think the little girl voice would be a bit off-putting at this point. And the thing about Ahsoka's species, I'm not familiar what it is, but she's not human. And so it stands to reason that perhaps her lifespan is much longer than that of a human being, to where, despite the years, and she's a much older Ahsoka, and she looks pretty good because it's Rosario Dawson. But you can understand that this has been a long time, because this takes place. I don't know exactly the amount of time it's happened. Maybe I forget. I think they did establish that already. That maybe it's been a year or so since Return of the Jedi, but you got to understand that Ahsoka, her time was during the Clone Wars. Then you got the Galactic Civil War, and there's a 20-year gap between the beginning, or the Revenge of the Sith. And the Revenge of the Sith is the end of the Clone Wars. So there's 20 years there, and then you have the Galactic Civil War, and however long that lasted, and that's all Luke Skywalker's story and everything. And then now here you are after all of that, and then here's Ahsoka off in this distant world, having survived the wipeout of the Jedi. And so Mandalorian's mission was to find her. He does. He comes in contact with the warlord and her group, and she hires him to kill the Jedi. Of course, they keep referencing that there was this war between the Mandalorians and the Jedi, which I imagine could lead to another series of stories or films in the past, which could be interesting and all of that. But one has to wonder, boy, how could Mandalorians hold up against the Jedi? Well, we get a brief example of that as he confronts Ahsoka. He took the job just because he wants to find her. He has no intention of killing her for the purposes of Baby Yoda. And once he comes into contact with her, there is a brief fight between them. And the thing of it is Mandalorian armor, lightsabers cannot cut through it. So there you go. There's your answer. How Mandalorians were able to go toe-to-toe with Jedi. Although I do believe the Mandalorians lost that war, but nevertheless, they considered the Jedi their enemy. So this is much later. So he explains to Ahsoka what the deal is and shows her Yoda. Now, this kind of wraps up the mystery of the Baby Yoda. It is not a clone of Yoda, apparently. This is another of the Yoda species, a much younger version, obviously, and his name is Groku. Some people don't like it, but I mean, look, they're aliens or whatever. And there's a funny scene where Ahsoka is able to reveal to the Mandalorian what the kid's name is, and he says Groku, and then a little he looks up at him, he responds to his name, he knows his name. All this, so there's some mystery. He has some gaps in his memory. He was at the Jedi Temple, and they were going to train him, but then Anakin came in there and wiped all the younglings out, but I guess he missed this one, and he ended up being in captivity of the Empire, and so they were using him in his blood, trying to recreate Jedi powers. My guess is what they're trying to do. And so I thought that was going to add into with the cloning, and it still might, but as it is now, it appears that he is not a clone of Yoda. He's just of the similar species. And this could take a dark turn, because Ahsoka, after examining the child and all this, decides, I can't train him. And Mandalorian said, well, what do you mean? Why not? And she says, sense much fear in him and all this stuff. And she says, I've seen this happen before. It's too dangerous. It'd be best if his abilities just fade and he lives out a normal life without the Force and all that. And he's like, oh, well, when she's saying she's seen it before, of course, she's referring to Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. And so that's the fear she has. And, well, who's to say this little baby Yoda, now Grogu, doesn't go dark, and he has this deep emotional attachment to the Mandalorian. This is a father figure to him, and she sees that as that could be a problem because Anakin had his deep attachment to Padme, his wife, and it was used against him and all this sort of stuff. So that's what she's afraid of. Yeah, come on, Ahsoka, couldn't you try? But it's within the narratives that's already been established, and so it kind of sort of works. So what to do about the evil warlord lady? So Mandalorian, says, I'll help you fight this woman, and in exchange for you taking on this child. So they do it. Of course, Mandalorian helps her. She gets in. There's a fight between her and the woman. She has this spear made out of the metal, I forget the name of it, that the Mandalorian armor is made of. So she's able to use that to fight, and that was what she was going to pay the Mandalorian with, because it's a rare substance. And she has a fight with Ahsoka, and she can use that to fight with her, because Ahsoka's lightsabers cannot cut through it. And she holds her own fairly well, but in the end, of course, Ahsoka wins. And what Ahsoka wants to know is, where is your master, of course? And the master is not Moff Gideon, it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. So there you go. All of that's in canon now. So will Thrawn appear in Mandalorian? Don't know, but I suspect for spin-off material and whatnot, perhaps Ahsoka Tano will spin off in her own series and could feature Grand Admiral Thrawn. So slowly but surely getting back to what the EU had established, which should not have been so quickly abandoned, because what you got in its place was pretty much next to nothing but crap. And so, it's interesting stuff and all that. This was more a lot of nods to Jedi and, little Easter eggs and whatnot. And it's all cool and stuff. But for an overall narrative of Space Cowboy and stuff, maybe we'll get more of that next episode. But I enjoyed it. I like it. I liked Rosario Dawson as the character. I would look forward to a series of her own, and so I'm fine with it. I don't really care about the name of Baby Yoda. I mean, for branding purposes, he's been Baby Yoda now for a while, but he's Grogu now, and you just have to get used to it. But he's still, the cute little frog that he is, and of course, ultimately, Ahsoka knew that Mandalorian would not be able to part with the kid. They're both attached to him, to each other, and she says, "You're a father figure to him," and so that's the way it is. I kind of wish, she had given him some kind of comlink thing or something. If you ever need me, contact me or something. But I'm thinking perhaps that's it for Ahsoka Tano, and maybe at some point they'll announce there'll be another series, and they'll continue on with her story there. Or maybe she'll show up again with this bizarre plot going on about poor little baby Grogu's blood being used for nefarious purposes for these, Imperial war criminals on the run. And all that, they could probably converge again. A good episode. I'm enjoying the series. It cannot save Star Wars. It's unfortunate, at least the greatness that once was Star Wars. But it's a good show. And so there you go. And a spectacular debut of live action Ahsoka Tano. And it was pretty cool. So, all right, there we go. The Mandalorian. The Jedi. Well, maybe that'll be the title for her series. Yeah. Anyway, there you go. Another fun episode of The Mandalorian. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.